Hey, this is CJ.
And I'm Reimy.
And you're listening to Jam Chats
on BYU Radio.
Today's guest is Dustin Christensen.
Love me or leave me alone. They say don't give up. They say you'll be fine. 'Cause you and I save each other. Bank and motel hall.
Dustin Christensen is a Grammy-nominated songwriter, artist, and producer from Orem, Utah.
He has led the band Jerrytown, is a member of the Lower Lights, and was even featured on NBC's The Voice in Season 9.
Besides his successful performing career, he's written songs for a few people you may have heard of. Kenny Chesney, Brothers Osborne, Dustin Lynch, and many more.
Today we'll talk to him about finding happiness through adversity, his creative journey, and put his songwriting skills to the test.
We've got some great live music coming your way. Jam Chats with CJ and Reimy starts now. Hey, Dustin, welcome to Jam Chats.
Hey, thanks.
Dustin, tell us about yourself.
My childhood, I grew up in Boise, Idaho, till I was about 4.5, and then we moved to Utah. And I'm the youngest of 5 kids. I started playing the piano, I guess, when I was 2.5. I plunked out the theme song to a television show that was on at the time, and just oddly, music was always in me, and nobody else in my family does that. My dad always sung to me as a kid and loves music but can't carry a tune. But I think that's probably where I get my love for music.
At what point did you feel like, okay, music is, like, you appreciated it until, like, no, I actually want to pursue this as, like, a hobby or something more,
I always wanted to pursue music, always.
Okay.
I wrote my first song when I was in elementary school. I used to put, like, little gaff tape on the piano so I knew where to start, like, where songs would start and stuff.
Yeah.
But my parents tried to give me piano lessons, and my neighbor, who was a piano teacher, I took a couple lessons, and then she said that it wouldn't do any good for my parents to keep having me take lessons because she would play me what I was supposed to learn for the week at the end of the lesson, and then I wouldn't practice. I would just memorize it, and then I just would play it for her when I got back, and then she would quiz me on the notes, and I couldn't tell her anything about anything. And so she just kind of said, well, musical theory and stuff came natural to me somehow, but I could never explain it, just like I could never explain how I know how to play the piano or whatever that is.
Well, you kind of glossed over that you started at 2.5.
2.5. Well, I certainly don't remember that, but that's according to the home videos and my parents. That's when it all
You started playing piano at 2.5. That's kind of Mozart-like.
Well, I definitely would not put me in that caliber of musicianship. You know, I could always play what I heard and started singing at a very young age and never let anybody hear it. Just in my room, I would sing to CDs, and then I picked up the guitar when I was in junior high, and I kind of stopped getting better at music when I was like in high school or around there, as far as like really becoming great, I guess, as a musician. I'm not like a bad musician. I can get by. But as soon as I started writing songs, all of my effort went into writing songs versus becoming more proficient at the instruments. But yeah.
What changed? What drew you to songwriting?
Well, I mean, from a very early age, I recognized melody and how special songs were. And the more I dove into songs, the more I started realizing that art of crafting a song is like a real special thing. I always had in the back of my mind, maybe I need to go to school because nobody in my family does music and they all do business. And so I got a finance degree, and then I made a solo record called Highway Lines, and that was my first solo thing. And then a casting agency out in LA found that record and invited me to come do the voice stuff. And
wow. How did they find the record?
Awesome.
I do not know how they found the record. I don't know exactly how they found the record. So I went and did that and auditioned. I never had any plans to go on that show. Not that I have anything against those shows. I had a great time on it. It just wasn't my thing, I guess. But I was like, why not? I'll just go and see. And I went and got some chair turns, and but I didn't ever have any huge expectations for the show. It was great. It was like camp, and you meet a lot of people, and I had already signed a publishing deal in Nashville, so that was kind of just an icing on the cake thing. But it was good. But I did that, and then in that time also I was getting a master's degree. And I don't know why I was getting a master's degree. I felt like probably at that time I just didn't know if do I just jump fully into this music stuff? It's like a scary thing to just put all your eggs in that basket.
Totally.
And so I was like, hey, maybe I'll get a master's degree. And got a master's degree. And the second I got my master's degree, I was like, you will hate yourself forever if you don't at least see if it was possible.
When did you make the jump, though? Because like I can see what you're doing there. You're trying to make sure that your future is set with a degree.
Sure.
At some point, you had to make that jump that says, I'm going all in.
Yeah, it was that or just go into the business world or whatever and always do music on the side, but I would always be like, what if I could have done that?
What if? Yeah. Yeah, Dustin, jumping in 100% is such a terrifying thing, but I think it obviously has paid off. So before we jump into the rest of your journey, can we hear a little bit of maybe something off of one of your earlier records that you'd be excited about?
Yeah, you could play something off that first record, the very first solo record.
What do you want to play for us?
You can play Fix Me Up off that record.
Can you give us just tell us a little bit about what that was about?
Yeah, Fix Me Up is kind of just a song about, that was a time in my life where all my friends had starting to get married and stuff like that, and I had kind of chosen to be in the musical world, and it's harder to kind of find somebody when you choose that path. It was kind of it wasn't really an autobiographical song as much as just a song about wishing for somebody.
All right, let's hear it. Everybody, this is Fix Me Up by Dustin Christensen. You're listening to Jam Chats on BYU Radio.
Heaven, I tell you I heard about it, but I've been here so long I'll never find it. Freedom is something I've never had, and these chains you left me now are sure to bind. Don't tell me it's wrong to hurt, 'cause I've been hurt before. Don't tell me it's wrong to say goodbye. Just take my hand and fix me up now. Fix me up now. A woman is something I wanna find, with her eyes that sparkle like a band of gold. And she'll know she's something I could never live without, and she'd save me from this warm and winding road. Pain can tell you need someone to make you strong and wise. Come to set all the wildest storm, and take my hand and hold me tight and fix me up now. Fix me up now.
Hey, welcome back to Jam Chats. We've got Dustin Christensen in the studio today. I'm your host, CJ, and this is
Reimy.
Dustin.
Yeah,
Let's talk about your musical influences for a minute.
let's do it.
So who would you say has influenced you the most in your life?
Wow, that's tough. It goes through spurts, you know. There was always the old people that my dad and everybody listened to that are kind of the, you know, just what everybody says between the Beatles and the Beach Boys and those things. But mostly growing up, probably in like Counting Crows and Toad the Wet Sprocket, and then a lot of Springsteen, and Tom Petty. And then I was very into 80s music. So
The best decade.
yeah, I mean, my very favorite Springsteen record is Tunnel of Love, and that's a lot of people's worst Springsteen record, just because it's very 80s production and stuff, but the songs on it are incredible.
So you finished The Voice and you're off to this publishing deal.
Right.
And, you know, you're talking about your influences. When you're writing, and you're writing all the time now, are you kind of pulling from the same influences, or are you still kind of just pulling from whatever?
It's a mix, you know. When I went to Nashville, I was lucky enough. I was very fortunate enough to have a lot of meetings in town, and I would tell everybody in the meetings, I would say, you know, like, I just don't want this to turn into a cubicle job for me. Something where I was writing songs every day that I didn't like, you know, if I was like, I have to write a song for this person or this person, and maybe it wasn't necessarily what I would love. And you still have to write a bunch of different songs and a bunch of different genres and all that kind of stuff. And a lot of days you have songs that you think are perfect for you, and a lot of days you just think, well, that's a good song and it's good for somebody else. But I just didn't want it to ever turn into a job that I felt like I was just going to work, because otherwise I would just go to work in a normal job.
For those listeners who don't know what this deal even is, can you tell us a little bit about what this means?
Yeah, a publishing deal is a publishing company will sign you as a writer, and they will give you a check every month to write songs, and you owe them a certain amount of songs. And most of the publishing deals that people will sign early on, the publisher will take a big amount of their publishing, and then other publishing deals, the publisher will take half of their publishing, and so on. It just depends on whatever contract you're lucky enough to negotiate.
But you'd been an artist before this, and so this was a pretty big shift, right? Going from writing songs for you to sing for your band, and then all of a sudden, now you're writing for other people.
Yeah, I mean, it was a big shift in the sense of not too far before this time, I had just barely started to co-write. And when you start to co-write with someone, it's a scary thing, because when you write only for yourself, I was the one that wrote every song when I did a solo record or had a band. And to write with someone else, there's always a fear that someone's going to screw up your vision of a song. So you write with someone, and writing songs with someone is also it's almost like a therapy session or something. You have to learn to be in a room with someone and really collaborate with them without your ego or your whatever getting in the way, and also trying to be happy with the outcome of the song. So it's a delicate dance, but songwriting is very much a spiritual thing, you know. If you're writing a pop song and it's not like super lyric based or whatever, it still has to make you feel something, whether it's the melody that's doing that. You're trying to write a song that you believe in, you know. So sometimes you're writing that song about a very personal thing that you or one of the writers went through, or you're just trying to get the most honest snapshot of something.
Well, talking about songwriting, I got to hear something. Let's hear something. Do you have something you can play live for us?
Yeah.
Something you've written?
Yes.
Tell us about it. What is it?
This is a song I wrote with two people, Jesse Joe Dillon and Lori McKenna. And I had this song title called The Town in Your Heart. And I did not know what that was at the time. I just wrote that title down. And Lori had just lost a family member, a brother-in-law, to a drug-related incident. And she kind of gravitated to this, and we wrote it, and it's just called The Town in Your Heart.
wasn't ready to say goodbye, goodbye. I wasn't ready to let go when you let go. And you don't have to keep me in your mind, in your mind. Just keep me in your blood and in your bones. There's an old white church and a dairy freeze, a borrowed car and a field of dreams. Go on and take me with you wherever you are. I hope I live on a road in the town in your heart. I hope I live on a road in the town in your heart. And you were taillights on the highway, flying, searching for something nobody ever finds. And I'd go back if I had my way, and I'd make those demons that were haunting you wish they had never tried. Just put me on the front porch swing, smelling Sunday supper. You know that A-frame house with the pale blue shutters. Go on and take me with you wherever you are. I hope I live on a road in the town in your heart. I hope I live on a road in the town in your heart. 'Cause you're in my heart now, no matter what. You're in the dark now, and I can't touch you, but you're in my heart now, the deepest part now, the deepest part, no matter what. So go on and take me with you wherever you want. I hope I live on a road in the town in your heart. I hope I live on a road in the town in your heart. I hope I live on a road in the town in your heart. I hope I live on a road in the town in your heart.
Amazing.
That's awesome, Dustin.
Thank you.
Dustin, my favorite songs are your sad songs.
I gotta ask,
Yes.
as we were looking through some of your previous albums and the things that you have out, you have a whole album just full of sad songs.
Yes, I love sad songs the most.
Tell me why. Tell me why.
I've always loved sad songs, not because they make me sad or any of that, but sad songs make you feel the most. You know, the very best songs are the ones that break you and save you at the same time. You know, they give you a little bit of hope, and they are so real that they make you feel everything. I don't know. I've always just gravitated to those songs, I guess, the most.
You just love breaking people and saving people.
No, I just love I do love the saving part. I don't like to break people. But I love the honesty of a sad song. I love how vulnerable they are. And so...
Are you a sad person?
No, I don't think many people that meet me would ever say that I'm a sad person. I think I'm probably as sad as anybody. I think we all probably have sad moments or whatever. And a lot of my songs are not autobiographical, but the ones that are or whatever, and I have to go from that place or whatever, certainly you're writing those songs as some kind of personal therapy to yourself or whatever. But no, I don't. I feel like sad songs for me are therapeutic in that way. They almost give you either an outlet to get the sadness out, or they're therapeutic in a way.
So off that record, sad songs, what's the saddest song on that record?
Man, I don't know. There's a lot of sad songs.
I can tell you my favorite song.
What one is your favorite?
Ruler of Your Heart.
Yeah, The Ruler of Your Heart is kind of a positive, almost like a pep talk to yourself as someone that's going to find somebody.
When you say pep talk, like that's kind of what I get out of that song. I feel like it's very kind of aggressive. for a sad
it is.
love song.
It very much is. And I didn't,
which I love about. That's what I love about it.
I wanted it
so
to
aggressive.
be that. I wanted it to be that. I think after I wrote it, I doubted it for a few moments because I was like, oh man, does this sound like a stalker or something? But it's not ever meant to be that. It's just meant to be basically telling the person that you're after romantically that, like, hey, you might not be into me right now or whatever, but just tell your heart like that I'm going to do whatever it takes to win it over.
Yeah, it kind of reminds me of some other popular songs. I'm thinking Every Breath You Take by The Police. That's got that same kind of like, I'll be watching you.
Yeah,
like,
it's that kind of a thing.
Which to me is like, it's so passionate.
Yeah.
Like, love is sometimes crazy, and that's when it gets really good, It's like when it feels like it's going to kill you if it doesn't work out.
Yeah. It's very much just meant to be a pep talk to yourself.
It's so good. Let's listen to it.
Love it. Off the album Sad Songs, this is The Ruler of Your Heart by Dustin Christensen.
On BYU Radio.
There it is.
I've been running for miles, I ain't tired, and I won't stop till I wear you down. Nothing is able to put out this fire, and it won't be long till I reach you. So tell the keeper of your soul that I fight again tomorrow, and I will tackle your love. I won't ever ease up through the blisters on my hands. Every puddle, every shower, still a ruler of your heart, that I'm coming for it now. You can't shoulder desire forever. Pace is slowing down again. You know this race you'll never win, and there is no way I'm leaving without you. I've handled hell before, and it ain't what you're looking for. Tell the keeper of your soul that I fight again tomorrow, through the darkest night to the brightest light, through the blisters on my hand, in the dawn of every hour, still the ruler of your heart, that I'm coming for it now. Still the ruler of your heart, that I'm coming for it now.
Dustin, that was incredible.
It was amazing.
Thank you.
I still love that song. So, Reimy, I got an idea. I've been loving this music so much, I just want to keep hearing Dustin play. How about it, Dustin? Can we hear you play another live song?
Okay.
You've written so many songs. What do you got for us that you can play?
This is a song called Said the Head to the Heart. It's basically the head and the heart fighting with each other. Not fighting with each other, but basically, the head and the heart are two very separate things. It's very much the head talking to the heart, trying to talk some sense into it.
All right, let's hear it. This is Jam Chats, and this is Said the Head to the Heart.
Said the head to the heart, what are you doing? Cry it all out till it's gone. Some days we're winning, some days we're losing, and I know it's still moving on. We're all out of rhythm sometimes, but we always end up just fine. Every sunset will rise in the morning. Every flood leaves a flower to bloom. Never put back together takes a falling apart. Said the head to the heart. I remember you broken, barely 18, when I talked your tears through the night. And I'd never say I know everything, but I know that you know I'm right. Every sunset will rise in the morning. Every flood leaves a flower to bloom. And every put back together takes a falling apart. Said the head to the heart. Yeah, the world's out of rhythm sometimes, but if you hold the beat, I'll keep the time. 'Cause every sunset will rise in the morning. Every flood leaves a flower to bloom. And every end of an ending is a brand new start. Said the head to the heart. Said the head to the heart.
That cuts deep for me. That really hits
great,
home.
Dustin.
That
Awesome song.
I mean, there's that struggle that your heart wants to go somewhere, but your head's trying to go somewhere else, and just that hole is huge. At least for me in my life, I feel that a lot.
Yeah. I think maybe we all do. I definitely feel that a lot. There's definitely a tightrope walk and a delicate balance between the head and the heart, and I think you kind of need both of them. I think if it's all heart, you're going to run into trouble, and if it's all head, you're going to run into trouble.
Yeah, speaking of the heart, you're a man of faith.
Yeah.
So living in Nashville, being in this industry, how do you stay true to that faith?
I've never had a problem, I guess, with faith. And that doesn't mean I've never had problems. I probably have as many or more than most people. But you have to be confident in those situations as far as peer pressure or any of that stuff goes.
Sure.
But for the most part, it's rare that you run across somebody that's not okay with your lifestyle or not okay with you not drinking, any of that stuff.
Yeah.
Most people are very much like, oh, that's awesome, And as someone that's still very much in his faith and that, it's definitely more challenges than a normal job. That's for sure. But like anything, when you're in the habit of it just being part of the job and you're used to not doing that, whatever it is or whatever, then it's fine,
So you talk about you've always kind of had this faith and it's just kind of been a part of you. Where do you think that came from? Where do you think it started for you?
I think it definitely comes with my parents and their example, for sure. I think there's a moment in everyone's life where if you go to church, you grow up and you go to church because you are going to church or you're going to get in trouble. Or you know what I mean? You're gonna be grounded, whatever it is, you know. And you live off the faith of your parents or whatever, or you end up not liking it, whatever it is. There's a moment when you have to decide if that is the thing, if you believe in it. And once I decided that it was something that I believed in, and once it was something that I researched, that was just kind of it. None of it ever changed my faith, I guess.
Tell us about the relationship with your parents. It seems like they're kind of a big influence on you, at least when you were growing up.
Of course, yeah. I was very much a mama's boy, for sure, and had a really great relationship with my mom. Not that I didn't have a good relationship with my dad, but my dad was more the authority in the house, and he worked and all of that stuff. And then, the older I got, I was always close with my mom, but then my mom had some strokes, and, now my mom has Alzheimer's, and she's kind of in the deep stages of Alzheimer's. And I've watched my dad, once my dad retired and stuff, I've watched my dad, my dad's her full-time caretaker, and the selflessness that I watch from my dad every day is unreal. And I've become really close with my dad since then. So I feel like my earlier days I was very close with my mom, and now I feel like I'm really close with my dad. So I was very blessed to just, I guess, have a good, that kind of relationship with both of them. And it was an interesting situation that I got to have that with my mom, and then her developing Alzheimer's and not being able to have that with her anymore, developing that with my dad after.
Yeah.
Oh, wow, that's an amazing story.
Yeah.
Sorry to hear about your mom.
Yeah. It's definitely a thing that happens, and I'm grateful that she is not in any pain or anything like that. I worry about my dad because he basically lifts her and everything. He's like basically full-time caretaker. So you watch the effect that it has on them, and I can't blame him at the same time, because if it was my wife or whatever, not that I have a wife, but if I can imagine, you would do that. So
would you ever write a song about your mom or for your mom?
My parents always wanted me to write a song for them or whatever. I have not ever written one because I don't know that I could get through it. I don't know that, and one day one might come out, but I don't want to write one like as an assignment kind of a thing.
Yeah.
Sometimes those songs just happen. I always tell myself maybe one day I'm going to write a song called Just Checking on You, because living in Nashville, I FaceTime with my parents every day. I'll try to do a call just so my mom can see me, just try to keep things as familiar as possible, whatever. Yeah. But I did notice that every time I call my dad, the first words out of my mouth always are, "Hey, just checking on you." And so it's on my title list of
That's a great
songs.
title.
And I don't know what that song is, but maybe one day it'll come out.
That's beautiful.
Yeah.
Dustin, your story really hits home for me. It's really amazing. Will you play us another song that maybe means a lot to you?
Sure. I'll play a song of mine that's called Once Upon a Time. That's basically, all of us kind of romanticize moments in our life that are past. And I think we romanticize them in a good way. I think they're always romanticized in the sense that you want to go back to that time. And I think probably if you could go back to that time, you wouldn't be as excited about it as not. But when you look back on things, there's moments in everybody's life that you kind of romanticize as being, like I had that once.
I totally resonate with that.
Yeah.
Let's get you on the piano.
All right.
So once again, everybody, Dustin Christensen.
I was once the mayor of this town. I knew everybody's name and they knew mine. And I was raised in a 4-room A-frame house, back when Elvis was king and Jesus never died. I still hear that midnight train. I made plans, I dreamed dreams, when innocence was real and on my side. Wouldn't pew Sunday shoes to get back there, what I wouldn't do, where I was once upon a time. And I was once the king of Friday night. We were Dairy Queen, 15 mixed up kids wasting time. And I was once the love of that girl's life. She told me so down some dirt road that I can't seem to find. And we chased that midnight train. We made plans, we dreamed dreams, when young dumb love was real and on our side. Mistakes and promise rings, to get back there I'd do anything, where I was once upon a time. She got married, settled down. There's a new mayor now, and someone else is king of Friday night. You get out there, you lose track, you move on, you can't go back. Once it's gone, but I had it once upon a time.
That was gorgeous.
Thank you.
That was amazing. Man, I'm in the feels. I'm in my feels right now.
You're in the feels?
I'm in my feels now, Dustin. You did it to me. You did it.
Nice.
So before we close out the rest of the show, tell me what's next. What's next on the docket for you?
I'm definitely in the process of a lot of different things. I'm producing some projects, writing for a bunch of projects, recording stuff that will get put out. It's just a matter of if it will get put out in single songs or an actual record. But a lot of things that I'm working on, trying to get music out, and then aside from my stuff, doing other projects and stuff too. But yeah.
Dustin, this has been an amazing time getting together, playing some music, hanging out, jamming and chatting.
Yes.
Can you believe we've gone this whole time and we haven't even talked about Parked Out by the Lake?
I can't believe it. I cannot believe it.
The song was incredible.
Well, incredible is a strong word for that song. But it's basically a song that came from the track of a song that is on Sad Songs called Vacant Motel Heart. And the very first line of that song is, I'm parked out by the lake 80 miles from Santa Fe. And then it's a very sad song. I always had a joke that you just would take the first line of a song and sing it for the whole song. And I have a bunch of those, but I never showed anybody those. We always just did them early, like in the middle of the night when we needed a break from making the record or whatever. And that was one of them. And I went into a vocal booth. It's just a one-take vocal of whatever comes out of your mouth, comes out of your mouth. And that's what came out of my mouth. And then we spent 15 minutes doing 3-part harmony on whatever came out of my mouth. And then I only showed a few people I didn't really even, it was really funny to us in the studio because it was late at night and we were delirious, and it was just funny because it's a one-take vocal, like just you're ad-libbing it on the fly. And so it was just funny to laugh at. But I rarely showed it to anybody, and I showed it to a few people. And then one day I was in Utah and I was away from Nashville, and there were a couple people in Nashville that just said like, hey, I want to hear this song so-and-so told me about. And at the time I didn't want to send it to him. Not that I was ashamed of it or anything like that. I just was like, I don't know if I'm going to send it to him. So I just made a private SoundCloud link and sent them the private SoundCloud link. And then I still to this day have no idea how it leaked out onto the internet, but like 6 months passed. And then I was at the Sundance Film Festival, and within the span of like an hour, I was getting, 50 texts on my phone from people in Nashville saying, is this you singing this Lake song? And I was like, where did you get that from? And they all got it from a different person. Wow. And then I logged into SoundCloud and saw that there was like, I can't remember how many plays. It was over 50,000 plays on a private link.
Wow.
And then Bobby Bones got a hold of it and wanted me to come on his show. And then a bunch of people were like, you got to release it. And I was like, I'm cool with releasing it, but I'm not going to put it out under my name just because nothing else, everything else will sound so different or whatever. And so I just used my middle name and the street I grew up on, whatever that is, like it's whatever your name is. And that's Dean Summerwind. And so I put it out under Dean Summerwind, and then it had like a lot of buzz, and then it would die off for a little bit, and then all of a sudden it would blow up again, and it was like Jimmy Fallon. It went from like Bobby Bones to like then Jimmy Fallon to like Matthew McConaughey. It was just a plethora of random people to.
But then someone recorded it.
Granger Smith recorded it, and then
this thing just keeps living.
Every day I get emails from people that are just demanding to know where this lake is. And oddly enough, when I was writing Vacant Motel Heart.
It's near Santa Fe, right?
Well, yeah, but oddly enough, when I wrote Vacant Motel Heart, and the first line is, I'm still parked up by the lake 80 miles from Santa Fe, I wrote that line and I thought to myself, okay, I like how that line sounds, and I thought I better at least make sure there's a lake that is 80 miles from Santa Fe. So luckily I did. Luckily I did do my due diligence in writing that song, and found out that there's 2 lakes that are 80 miles from Santa Fe.
Oh wow!
And one is named Lake David, and one is named Lake Isabel. And when people ask, I always just say it's Isabel, even though it's neither of them. But not to break anyone's heart that it's neither of them, but I always say Isabel, probably because Isabel was that song that I wrote on my second record. So I always just say Isabel is the lake,
Yeah.
And so
there's a magic.
So it lives in its space. And the joke, I guess, to carry the joke on is I have put out, there is a Parked Out by the Lake live version. There's a Parked Out by the Lake sad version. There's a Parked Out by the Lake piano version.
Yeah,
and the piano version and the live version are the same. It's just the live version, we put lake sounds in the background. And then the sad version is just a sad version. But I guess that's the joke of the song that keeps repeating itself, is that you just keep making versions of the same song.
Oh my gosh.
Wow.
But
I don't think we could have Dustin Christensen or Dean Summerwind here in the studio without just a little bit of Parked Out by the Lake live. Is there any way that you can play that?
Sure.
We got to get an exclusive of this.
Sure. Let me see.
And then before you play, let me just ask one more question.
Yeah.
Does it ever bother you as a serious songwriter that the one song so far that's really gone viral is the joke?
I'm sure a lot of artists have had that happen to them in some facet, or, like the song that they're like, I don't really like this song, and this is the popular one, Look, I'm just happy that people enjoy it. It doesn't make me question my other songs or anything like that. But it is always ironic that the song that you spent 0 time on is like the one that blows up.
Well, you're going to hear it here on Jam Chats. This is Dean Summerwind playing Parked Out by the Lake. Take it away.
I'm still parked out by the lake, 80 miles from Santa Fe. And I'm sitting here just parked out by the lake. If you're wondering where I parked, I'm out parked by the lake. It's the lake that's 80 miles from Santa Fe. And I'm parked out by the lake, 80 miles from Santa Fe. It's the lake that's parked where I'm at, up by the lake. And this lake is where I'm parked, 80 miles from Santa Fe. And I'm still parked out here by this lake, 80 miles from Santa Fe. Do you remember that old lake, the one by Santa Fe? That's where I'm at, I'm sitting out here parked. And I'm parked here by the lake, 80 miles from Santa Fe. And it's the lake that you remember where I parked. And I'm parked out by the lake, 80 miles from Santa Fe. It's the lake that's parked where I'm at, up by the lake. And this lake is where I'm parked, 80 miles from Santa Fe. And I'm still parked out here by this lake, 80 miles from Santa Fe. And someday I'm gonna move, but right now I'm parked. And you know that lake out by Santa Fe, that's where I'm at. I'm parked, waiting for you. You know that I'm parked out by the lake. You remember that lake out by Santa Fe. And I'm gonna sit here parked out by this lake, out by this lake, by the lake in Santa Fe. I'm sitting out here parked.
That's amazing. I need to tell everybody, there was a text I got from Dustin as he was driving into the studio. And it was like, hey, where do I park? Because you couldn't find the stall.
Oh, yeah.
And I was so close to saying, just by Santa Fe, so by the lake.
That was a golden opportunity that you missed.
You missed it. Dustin, thank you so much for coming on the show.
Thanks for having me.
Yeah, thanks, Dustin.
It's been such a pleasure to have you.
Yeah.
Everybody go check out Dustin Christensen on wherever you get your music, Apple Music, Spotify. Is that where they can find you?
Yeah, they can find me all the social medias and stuff. It's all just Dustin online. And yeah, you can find me on all the places that you get music.
Thanks for being on Jam Chats, Dustin.
Thanks for having me.
This is Jam Chats. I'm Reimy.
And I'm CJ.
Have a good night.